All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today for our language support class. We're going to be using this class to help us improve our writing skills because we do have a lot of writing assignments in our curriculum, and also we have our end of the year state testing coming up, and we want to show what a wonderful job our teachers are doing on that test in helping us improve our writing skills. So this is just a chance to help us practice. It's going to be kind of an open session where you guys are going to have to bring some of your work with you. We're going to work together and you're going to have to do some of the work on your own, but we're going to get it started here in class. All right, so let me see if I can pop over here. There we go, yay. All right, so you should see on your screen a document. Let me just grab the one I want. All right, we're going to be practicing our writing skills. And so as a means of practicing, we're going to be creating essays. And I figured since I'm asking you to create an essay, I don't want to waste your time. If I'm going to ask you to write an essay, I want it to be one you're going to get credit for from your teacher. And since we're all taking English classes, I thought we would write to the topics that are assigned in our English classes so that when we're done with this class, we have a solid essay to turn into our teachers for our English course. So on the screen, you can see are some of the English unit themes, and each unit theme has a topic. So the first one is freedom and responsibility. Some of you may have already written this essay. And it asks us the meaning of freedom and what responsibilities we have to keep it. So this is our first choice for a topic. We're going to select a topic. We're going to then practice writing on that topic. And when you're done, you'll have an amazing essay you can turn in to your teacher. So if you are currently taking an English course and you are working on a unit, you need to make sure that you choose the topic that aligns with the unit you're currently working on. So if you're working on units 1 and 2, that topic would be freedom and responsibility. If you're working on units 3 and 4, you would choose the topic of individual, community, and culture. And if you're working on units 5 and 6, that would be our fear and power topic. If you're working on units 7 and 8, that would be injustice and change. So hopefully you have a good idea of which topic you need if you are already in an English class. If you're not in an English course and you know you need one, the first 2 topics would pertain to the first semester of any English class you would take. And the second 2 topics or units are going to match any second semester English class you need to take. If you're not sure, you can choose one and we'll get you started. We'll walk you through it. It doesn't matter if it's not going to match exactly. I promise your teachers will be excited to see your writing and will give you credit. And you will get credit for this course as well. So these are the topics we're choosing from. You've had a couple of moments to glance at each one. We're going to begin together with the topic for units 5 and 6, fear and power. So we're going to be starting with how do people react when challenged by fear? And now I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I start to write, I get lost. Like I have all these ideas up in my head, but I don't know how to get started by putting pen to paper. So we're going to be using thinking maps in this class to help us get started with our writing. Today we're going to focus on pre-writing, how to get our ideas out and what to do to get started. So we're going to be starting with the circle map. Anybody in class remember the circle map if you've taken it in our previous semester or if you've seen it from what other teachers you've worked with? Okay, I have one of my students here. This is Ray, and she's used the circle map before, so that's a good start. We do have a few people who might be familiar with them. Ouch, sorry guys, give me a sec here. All right, so I've gone ahead and gotten started with this circle map. So for those of you who aren't familiar with them, a circle map begins when we put our topic in the middle. Here, let me pop over to. We start with our topic in the middle and we draw a circle around it. So in this case, the question was how people react when challenged by fear. That's the topic that we're writing towards. And so we put that in the middle, and then we're going to kind of do a brainstorm. So I've started brainstorming about what I know about how people react to fear. And the first thing I thought of when I heard fear is fight or flight. You may have heard of that. It's the way a lot of people react to a fearful or dangerous situation. They either fight or they run, right? It's called the fight or flight instinct, and it's actually something that's controlled in the amygdala, which is a part of our brain in the temporal lobe of our brain. It regulates our response to danger. And so I've just was jotting down kind of notes for myself to help me get started. So I wrote fight, the amygdala, it's in the temporal lobe of the brain, and that regulates this response. Now notice that these are just kind of notes. I'm just writing examples and notes on here to help me get started. I'm just kind of writing everything I can think of about the topic. And so then I put fight, afraid of getting in trouble because of a new rule against running at school. So I pushed to change the rule for everyone. So this was an example. So this is a personal example. Personal example. I just wanted to include a personal example so that later if I'm writing, I kind of have an idea of a story I might be able to tell that kind of goes with my topic. So this is just an example of fighting. And then over here you can see I've got another one that's labeled example of flight is running away from the evil kid eating monster under the furniture. So I was thinking about running away from things that scare me, and I remembered how when I was a little kid, I used to jump off every piece of furniture because I was convinced that there was this evil clown under the furniture that was going to like pull me under and tear me to pieces. Drove my poor mom crazy because I was always jumping onto and off of the furniture. But this is an example of our instinct to run away when we're afraid, right? So I would try to avoid by running away. So I'm just giving another personal example here of, in this case, flight. So I've got an example of what I did when I was fighting, and I've got an example of what I did when I was fleeing. So that's an example of running. And then I was just jotting all kinds of things down. So up here, I've got another example for fight. I stopped an attacker who tried to strangle me and pinned him down, but I wanted to remember that fighting doesn't have to mean that you're causing more harm than necessary to protect yourself. So I thought, well, if I tell this story, it kind of makes me sound like I'm trying to take people down. And that may not be the case when I'm scared. My first reaction is just contain the situation, right? So I'm not trying to like kill an attacker. I just want to keep them from hurting me or someone else. Okay, so now that's kind of where I was going with that. And then you can see I wanted to include, when I'm doing this, I also want to make sure that I'm thinking about ways to incorporate evidence from the things I've read, especially if I'm taking an English class. And I know a lot of students have been reading the novel Malala. I've got some students reading it, and I've been kind of skimming it myself. So I thought Malala was a good example of a reaction to fear when if you haven't read it, Malala is a girl who is growing up in the Middle East, and women there aren't really given opportunities for education. And so she really had to fight for that. And at one point it came to, she was on the bus to school, she got pulled off the bus, and she was shot. She survived, clearly, and she's then since become an advocate for women's education. And she's used peaceful protests to get people's attention. She's traveled all over the world. She's worked with the UN, and all because of the peaceful protests she used. And that was just her reaction to a situation where she could have certainly gone many different ways. I mean, if someone were to shoot me, I'm not sure that I would be as magnanimous as she were. But this is an example I might be able to use from my reading, and I might even be able to look for a quote in the book that has to do with fear later. So I wanted to make sure I put a note on my brainstorm to help me with that idea. And then I had another idea of how people might react is that sometimes when I'm afraid of stuff, I avoid it. So I just put a quick note about me, like I was afraid of how much money I owe on my credit card, so I'm kind of like not looking. I'm just going to not open the account to find out how bad it is. So avoidance is definitely one way to react to fear. So I was just kind of jotting down some notes because I want to have as many different ideas as I can so that when I go to plan, I have more to work with. Do we have any questions right now about how to start a circle map about your topic, how to kind of get started brainstorming? Does anyone have a question about that? And let me see if I can figure out how to get back to my chat because I see there are more things going on in our chat. Okay, so no questions. Excellent. All right, so this is the part where it becomes kind of a live laboratory. What I'd like for you to do is to break out your own sheet of paper, and I want you to choose one of the topics we were just looking at. So let me put the topics back up here for you now that you've had a chance. Whoops, sorry guys, I'm getting better at this techie stuff. Let me put these topics back up because you guys are going to choose one of these. Oh, I did not realize it was going to do that. All right. There we go. One of these topics for your writing. All right. So I've got most of the topics up there. The top one is, you guys see already. I'll put it back in just a few moments. I'll scroll. Please take a few moments. Select a topic that either fits the class you're taking right now or the class you plan to take. If you're not sure, check with your teacher. And I need you to grab a sheet of paper. We're all going to get started making our own circle map. All right, so we should have a chance to choose a topic. We should grab a sheet of paper and a pencil. We're going to be getting started on our own circle maps. Where do we put our topic if we're making our own circle map? Anybody got an idea? And you can type it into the chat, or you can unmute yourself and you can speak directly to us if you'd like. Sorry, guys. Where do we write our topic? Does it go in the corner? Does it go on the back of the page, front of the page? We're making our circle map. I am seeing a ton of stuff in that chat that doesn't seem to be showing up. There we go. Yep. Okay. Okay, so if we're doing our circle map, we need to make sure that our topic is going directly in the middle. So of our page, and then we're going to draw a circle around it, just like we did in our example. So let me pull up our example again. All right. So we've got our example over here. So remember, I chose fear. Your topic can be whatever you choose it to be. And you don't have to write the entire question out. You can just choose one word from that. So maybe it's injustice, or maybe it's freedom. You can choose your target word, put it in the middle, and then you're going to start your brainstorm. Make sure that as you're brainstorming, you are including anything you can remember from your readings. And thank you to the person who typed into our chat. We're putting our topic in the middle. You are 100% correct. Excellent. All right. So we should have our topic in the middle of our paper now with a circle around it. And this is where we start brainstorming. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to write down your ideas. While you're doing that, I'll be checking the chat and hanging out. Okay, and I saw somebody needs to see those topics again, so let me pop them back up on the screen. There we go. So we've got our topics right up here. I'm trying to get all of them on at once, and they don't all want to show up at once, of course. Not sure if I trust myself to do that. Yes, okay. There we go. Okay. So we've got our topics. The first one is, what is the meaning of freedom and what responsibilities do we have to keep it? The second one is asking about the relationship and impact of our experience, genetics, community, and culture on our identity. The third topic is about fear and power. How do people react when challenged by fear? And our last topic is, how do leaders respond to injustice? Okay. So I am going to go ahead and give us 5 free minutes where I stop talking, start listening, and you start thinking. Go for it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I want to be respectful of your time. Has everyone had a chance to get started? thumbs up if you've gotten started. Does anyone feel like they'd like more time to get some ideas down? Okay. All right. So here's what I'm thinking, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to get an idea of what you have down on your paper. So I'd like to ask a couple of people to share with us just one thing that they brainstormed. Ray, I know you're right here. Do you think you would mind maybe writing a word or two from your brainstorm? And you can tell us if you like what your topic was. You can write straight on the screen, and then we'll all be able to see it. It's okay to touch the screen with your hand too. So Ray is sitting here with me, and we're working together on getting her started. And she chose what I feel is the most challenging of the topics I could write. Probably 3 or 4 books on this topic, and there would still be more to say. And it's really intimidating. I've tried to write on this one 3 or 4 times, and I got stuck. So I applaud her for taking on that challenge. All right. So Ray is working on individual and community. And Ray, if you want to give him just a word or two about maybe something you feel might help shape people's identity that might come from their culture or their community. Is there maybe 1 or 2 words you might be able to put on here that would give them an idea? There we go. See, she's got it started. And this is her circle around her topic. Beautiful, Ray. And then I know in my example, I wrote long things. I had a lot of time, but you can also write just 1 or 2 words. So Ray, can you think of maybe 1 word that would be an aspect of the culture you've experienced that's helped to shape you? Come on in.
1 word?
Yeah, if you want, or if you want to do a short phrase, that's okay too. I know there was kind of an event we talked about that you've attended. Yeah, the powwow. So Ray has the opportunity to attend powwows in her community, and that's a way that I think it's 1 more W. Powwow? I'm going to have to check that. Now you got me curious. I'm going to have to look that one up. Thank you. So attending powwows, come on, join us. EJ, come on over. All right, so attending powwows is one way that in her community, she has developed a cultural identity that's kind of helped her become who she is. Have a seat anywhere you like, EJ. Thank you. And so that's one way that Ray has connected with her community that's helped to build her identity. And so this is a great start to her writing because she's just pulling ideas from her mind about different things that have helped to shape her identity. And that's an excellent start. So we've got a good start here. Does anyone have something that they were able to get started on that they might be willing to share either in the chat or by unmuting themselves so we can hear about what you've got started? This is the hardest, I think, part of the process because you just have to start getting those ideas flowing and getting them out. So I think we've kind of shown everybody a little bit about how to get started on our circle maps. We've got an idea or 2 out there on our maps. You're going to need to take some time to flesh these out, but I want to show you one of the things that's really important that's kind of a next step. And thank you for joining us. I hope you can see everything okay. Excellent. So what I wanted to show you guys next was what we do when we've got all of our ideas down and we think we're pretty solid. Then we do something called, we put our big circle all the way around, which you can kind of see on here. Whoops, I got to start. Sorry, guys. Let me find the right screen so I can get there. Okay. Sorry, guys. We have to do a different share. Where did it go? More. I am sorry, guys. Sometimes I get a little bit lost. I don't want to stop sharing. I don't want to pause sharing. Well, I could pause sharing. Sorry, guys. I got a little lost here. Lots of new technology, and on occasion, it's not as easy as I thought it would be. Okay, wait, share. There we go. Okay, now you guys can see what I'm doing again, and we're going to go back over to here. Excellent. Okay, there we go. Now we got this. Thanks for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see we're back to our circle map. Once we've got a lot of our ideas down, we are going to then be adding our large circle that goes all the way around. And let me see if I can get this to shrink down a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. There we go. Okay. So once we've got all of our ideas down, we will then draw a large circle around them, like you see this blue circle. After that, we draw a frame. This frame is called the frame of reference. You can see this big frame going all the way around my map here. This is our frame of reference. And in our frame of reference, we're going to give ourselves some notes about where this information came from. Now, since you guys are practicing to write essays for your teacher, I wanted to make sure that I showed you how to do a citation. So if we're going to talk about, say we're talking about Malala, we want to make sure that we include the book Malala because that's where we got our information from, right? And if I'm going to quote it, I have to cite it. So most of our teachers, I believe, are using what we call as MLA citation format, and we can look that guy up. So I'm just going to show you, sorry, I'm trying to get back to, no, mouse, there we go.
By just join the Zoom, both of you. It's only for an hour.
Thank you, Dr.
Talking, sorry.
You're okay. All right. Hi. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is how to include a citation. Now, I've talked about Malala on my map. So I need to make sure I cite it. But I don't know how to necessarily always do that. You can see on our screen here, it's a little hard to see, so but I have put up a citation in APA format for my book Malala.
Yes, ma'am. If you can hear me, your audio is kind of messed up.
I've done it a bunch, and I still get confused about how to do it. So what I did is to use a website called Cite This. Let me see if I can get back there. Cite. Sorry, guys. This is not as easy as I thought it would be. Cite This. Not getting it. Oh, okay. Let me grab my keyboard so that this will work better. Sorry. Oh, I'm working out the techie snappies here. All right. There. Now we should be able to actually type. Okay, so we want Cite This for me. There we go. All right. And you can see on screen we have a couple options. We have Cite This for me as our top result. And then it shows our choices of APA or MLA. I'm more accustomed to using what we call MLA. It just stands for the Modern Language Association, and there's different styles of how to cite your sources. I believe most of our teachers will be happy to accept an MLA citation. Let me show you how to do this. So first, I went to the website. Yes, show me how to use it. Oh, cool. So this particular website has kind of walks you through things. Oh, I like this one. This is not the one that I thought it was, guys. I'm really sorry. I used one that just said Cite This. Okay. So we're going to choose style up here. We want APA. Where did it go? MLA. There we go. 8th edition. That's the most current one. We've got that going. Okay. And we want to add new reference. So we're going to click here. And if you notice, we have choices. These are reference a website, a journal, a book, and then it says more. So it doesn't fit either of those categories. In this case, it's a novel. So we're going to click book. And let's see what it does. It asks us to enter the title, author, or ISBN.
am alone. And we click search.
Aha.
Check it out. All right, so now we have a list of courses to choose from. I have to know who the author of my book is to know I'm getting the right one. How do you think I might know that?
I have a couple of questions on that one. Let's just quickly check. Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry if my audio sounds a little odd. I'm going to have to mess with it. I'm doing the best I can for today. Hopefully you guys are able to understand me. All right. So in order to make sure I'm getting the proper citation, I need to double check my facts, which might mean I have to pull out the book I'm reading. In this case, I'm cheating a little bit. I meant to have it handy and hold it up for you guys so you could see the book. But I happen to have double checked this earlier, and I know that the version of the book we're checking out to our students is the one by Christina Lamb. So if you look up here, you can see this top option. That's the one we are using. Oops, sorry, guys. So I'm going to click the blue box where it says Cite and check this out. I'll scroll down the page. Aha. So if I need to double check, I can look at the publication date in my novel. I have done that already, and I happen to know that our version of that novel was published in 2013, and the author was Christina Lamb. So
this information looks correct. I'm going to click on continue.
And you can see it's giving me the information. If I scroll down, it'll say complete citation. When I click that, it's going to give me the actual citation. I have to scroll below the ad. Okay. Aha. So here we have the actual citation that we need to use. We can copy it onto our paper if we're creating a works cited or bibliography paper. Or if you look here, it says copy bibliography citation. You click here, and it's on your clipboard, and you can paste it straight into your documents. So you don't have to join Premium to do it. I've used many different websites very similar to this one. So now it's on my clipboard. I could then open up my Word doc and just paste it, and that citation will appear for me. So that's the process I went through in order to get my citation. And if you look, you can see it on our circle map. It is over here, and I'm sorry, it's a pain in the butt, but it won't let me move it out of this corner. It's a thinking mouse thing. But you can see that we do have our citation here. There we go. Maybe make it bigger. And then scroll sideways more on our map. So in our frame of reference on our thinking map, we want to make sure that we have a citation. And if we can get it in correct format like this one, that makes our job much easier when we're done with our writing, because we can then put our works cited page or our bibliography page, and we've got everything we need ready to go. Really quickly, guys, I wanted to ask, does anyone know where you might be able to look in your own work if you're taking an English class? Where might you find quotations that you've already collected from the work you're reading? Anybody got an idea? Is anybody keeping those journals and evidence logs and things of that nature that go along with our units of study for our English? You are, right? All of you who are taking English are taking dialectical journals and completing your evidence logs. Guess what? You guys have done a ton of the work for yourselves when you go to write your essays, because now all you have to do is look through the quotes you've already collected to find one you like that goes with what you said. There! Pop it into your paper, you're good to go. So you've got some quotes, and if you're going to use the quote, you have to make sure that you include that citation. So we've got our citations here, should be ready to go, and this will help us when we are compiling our work. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I've kind of chatted. Hopefully you've had a little time to add a little bit more to your circle maps. I want to show you what comes next in the process so that we've got the first 2 steps under our belt when we leave today. So the next map we're going to look at is, let me just move things around on my screen. It's getting crowded here. Okay, so the next map we're going to look at is what we call a partial multi-flow map. And a partial multi-flow map is going to give us an opportunity to, there we go, guys, an opportunity to help focus our writing a little bit more. And you may not be ready to get to this step yet if you're still adding information onto your first map. That's totally okay. You can take some more time to add to that, but I want you to see what comes next in the next step. Okay. No, stop. There we go. All right. So we're going to show you what this multi-flow map looks like. You're going to take your topic, and it will start off on the left in a box. Some of you might have used a multi-flow or a partial multi-flow in the past. We talked about them last semester. These types of maps are usually used to show cause and effect relationships. When writing, like we are today, we use these maps to help us map out the three main, either cause depending on your topic or effect depending on your topic, that you'll be discussing in your writing. So once you've fleshed out your circle map, you're going to pick, in this case, remember I was talking about how people react to fear. So I'm going to pick my top 3 reactions to fear, and I'm going to put them in these boxes here. So this would be my topic, how people react to fear, and it's causing, fear is causing the reaction. So this is a cause-effect relationship. So we've got causes here. This is the cause. And I'm discussing the effects over here. So that's why we're using this type of map. And it's going to help us really organize our ideas and flesh them out just a little bit more. So in my earlier example, we talked about using people's reactions to fear. So I might have to refer back to my previous work in order to go through this activity. So I'm going to flip back over real quick. And I'll let you guys, whoops, sorry guys, here, let's get rid of all that stuff. I will let you guys help me. We need to talk about which of these things might be easiest to talk about, where we might be able to come up with the most to say about. Okay, so I am having some technical issues one more time. All right, let me see if I can get this map a little bit smaller instead of bigger. Sorry, guys. Too many things in the same space on my screen here. It's just not helping me. All right. So we want to get our maps a little bit smaller so we can see it. So now I've got to look through my map, and I've got to think about the 3 topics I think I will have the most to say about, the 3 reactions to fear that I think will be the most meaningful. So I've got some different ideas. I've got fight, flight, and avoid. Those, I think, are the 3 really major topics that I'm going to be focusing on in my writing. So I'm going to pop back over to now when I do my, there we go, when I do my multi-flow, those 3 things are what are going to go in these boxes here. So I'm going to say fight in this one. And then this one I'll say flight, and then, oh, see when I'm nervous I type even worse than usual. L-I-G, there we go, flight. And then here I'll put avoid. There we go, okay. And avoid is really similar to flight. So I'm going to have to work to build some distinctions between those. But for each one, I want to have at least one example or detail. So on my map, I had kind of already given some of that for each of these. Let's see. So for fighting, an example of fighting, I'm going to put Malala's response to the Taliban shooting. There we go. So that's just giving me one example, right? This is how we can create these maps as a way to help us really structure and focus our thoughts specifically on the main 3 topics that we're going to discuss. And I say 3 because our goal is to write a 5-paragraph essay. And so usually in a 5-paragraph essay, we have an introduction paragraph, and then we have 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion. So I need a topic for each of my 3 body paragraphs. I'm going to flesh this out, and it will become the topic of a separate paragraph. So each of these boxes will eventually be a paragraph. So I'm probably going to want to include more than 1 detail or example for each one, right? And that's totally okay. We can add as many as we need to. Not a problem. So I've got 1 example here. I can always add more details and examples. Does anyone have any questions about how to do the partial multiflow? Okay, so what I'd like is to give you guys a chance to get started. While I'm here, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. I'll also be roaming around the room. I have a few students who are here with me, so I'll be helping them as well. If you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask so that I can help you out. But I'd like to give you some free time to complete your circle map and start working on your partial multiflow map so that when you leave here today, I'd like you to have a really good start on your pre-writing, because next week we're going to map out the entire essay, and it's going to take some real work. But we've got to have the groundwork, the foundation done in order to get there. So I need you guys to get started on this. I'm going to stop the recording so that we aren't recording that part, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to work. Please take this time to get some work started and to ask me questions. All right. I look forward to seeing your work. I'll be back to check in with you guys in 10 minutes. So we've got 10 minutes of free time to work, and then I'm going to check back in and we'll be wrapping things up. So take the text 10 minutes and let's make good use of our time.